What's going on, my little Saturday motherfuckers? All right. Just woke up making coffee, but I wanted to share my thoughts on the day after SBVB. Um, the title of this video is "Never Trust a CEO." I'm gonna show you something. Yeah, I saw this morning as I'm waking up. It's fucking disgusting, but nonetheless, retail has a habit of when they invest in a company, for some reason they adopt a CEO, and you know that's been a big pet peeve of mine. Like never do that. I never trust a fucking CEO. I'm gonna give you an example of this. First, I'm gonna put this in kind of like in a little package for you to like absorb, and then I'm gonna hit you with it. Okay, SVIB. Okay, had 175 billion in deposits. About 151 billion of that is not insured. Let that sink in. Let that sink into your fucking head for 2 seconds. That means the ramifications of this, because you think FDIC comes in and everybody's insured and stuff like that. There was a lot of companies that use this bank for payroll. It's a lot of big venture funds, a lot of tech companies, just basically from coast to coast. What they're not telling you is 150 billion just disappeared. Now, here's how that's taken care of, if it can be. FDIC will issue out those people certificates, kind of like receipts, once they validate that that's the money that they had. Then FDIC is going to sell off all of SVIB, VB, all their assets. Remember that part I'm telling you right now. They're going to sell off all their assets in order to make back that money. How long is that going to take? And how much money are you going to get back? Remember, they only insure up to $250,000. So that's gone. So if you take that 150 billion gone on Friday, you take the 50 billion that was wiped off of the bank's stocks on Thursday. So total this week that just passed right now, you can just say 200 billion just disappeared. Now, as far as you say the bank's assets, let me tell you something. They rent those locations. They run slim. They ain't getting 150 billion in assets. But let me just tell you something here. It's one little piece that I knew happened, but you don't get it till like the next day. But I'm gonna read it for you. This is not me making this up. CEO of Silicon Valley Bank sold 3.57 million in stocks in the troubled bank just 2 weeks before the dramatic collapse. You know what? In an automatic trade planned for January 26, the CFO ditched 575,000 on the same day. Jay. Why isn't nobody really looking at that? The two motherfuckers in charge of that bank, and I didn't lose money in that bank, but I'm pissed off that I know that a lot of motherfuckers are getting wiped out. They dumped their stock leading before and even on that day. So these two happy motherfuckers right here, I know who they voted for. Okay? They fucking saved themselves before all hell came. Then they tried to dump a bunch of stock to cash up. What happened to the shareholders? A lot of retail owned this bank. People are hitting on Kramer now because he was telling people like a week ago to load up on this. That's what I'm seeing. I'll read into that, whatever. Everybody's known about this bank. I can say for the last 2 weeks. I'll leave it at that. I didn't even know Kramer was telling people to buy into it, but I'll cover that. Continuing on this other article. Police were called after about a dozen financiers, including former Lyft executive Dor Levy, showed up outside the building on Park Avenue as a run on the bank on Friday morning forced Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation to seize assets. So, yeah, this shit caught a lot of people by surprise, and it wouldn't have been this way. I'll talk about that risk shit later, how the bank should have operated, but it didn't. Because let me tell you something, the reason I'm covering this is because what you're seeing happening now is gonna happen on Wall Street. Same way this bank insured the startup tech firms up and coming is the same way the banks on Wall Street gave the money to these little funds, these investors to like go out there and go crazy. It's the same thing. Trust me, see, this is interesting. I was in both. I was in Wall Street finance, and then I went on to the Silicon Valley finance. So I know the money scheme behind both of them. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're going to see this happen over there too. You know how many small funds have borrowed? Well, there was one last year, and they absorbed that. I forgot what guy knew the fucking guy's name. The guy's fucking deleted now. His life is click. I think he owed like Morgan like $20 billion. Anyway, you see things like this happening, and the ones that protected themselves were the CEO, CFO, whatever. Then you think back to AMC, how when we were buying the stock, trying to protect the company, and basically, do our piece to save this company, and the CEO and all the other C-levels and the board were dumping their stock. You have to understand why I tell you, you can never trust the CEO or the C-level or anything, because at the end of the day, it's different than an owner that's a founder. That's different. That motherfucker will go down with the ship. But in a situation like this, they're just employees. They were hired to do a job, and the second it gets dangerous, they're gonna run. That's why when Popcorn says, "I'm the largest retail shareholder in AMC," they were given to you, and you dumped them all. And the ones that you're holding, there's probably a lockout period on them, or you're waiting for a certain point to dump them. Remember one time he said that he sold those shares because he's getting older, and obviously, he had to accept whatever. I'm like, wait a minute, dog. It's not like you're going broke. See, that's right. Never, never, never in this play or any play we do afterwards or just in general, never trust the CEO, CFO. Never trust any of them, because unfortunately, I hope none of you were with that. But this kind of stuff, you're gonna see it grow more and more and more. And by the way, you haven't even seen the nightmare come to Wall Street. Get ready for that. Get ready for CEOs that you love to be dumping everything. All I can say is this: if 200 billion just disappeared this week and we haven't even raised the rates, get ready. Because what's coming is going to be some biblical shit. But that doesn't mean the collapse is happening. Listen, Monday morning, bank stocks are going to get rocked. I know that Yellen is right now saying banks are safe. Everybody's saying banks are safe. I keep telling people banks are very safe. Banks are 100% safe. Their clients are not. Remember I said that the other day? I don't give a fuck about the bank. The banks are solid. But the people they loan money to, the people they depend on to pay back, they're not solid. Look at Las Vegas real estate right now. All developers, Las Vegas is collapsing. Look at Miami, hottest real estate market technically in the world, down 45%. This is it going forward. Now, what you're going to start seeing is a lot of weird, treacherous shit. Be careful of CEOs going, I'm going to expose the shorts. I'm going to do this. Let me tell you something. Has one of them done it yet? That's how it goes. Giant hugs. I'll be back in a few minutes. I just got to get some coffee in me. I just wanted to share that because it irked the shit out of me at the end of the day that people still give this loyalty to a CEO when at the end of the day, that's the first motherfucker to jump ship with your money. Giant love.